Alright, I'm gonna start this video, and I'm gonna be hooking up some cruise control on here, and if that's the sole reason why you're into this video, to get to this point, I will put a note here, fast forward to here. And if you're just here to see what I'm farting around with, then yeah, I'm going to suffer a little bit trying to get the cruise control working, and then try to get that vibration out of the drive shaft on here. Alright, we got this one in. I do have that one in, but we need to do some running around this week, and I want to figure out that vibration. I'm thinking it's still a U-joint, or I'm going to take someone's advice and it possibly is a U-joint, so I'm going to check that out. And then I need cruise control in here because it's a little hard on my foot. I went rummaging around in the shed, and I found a cruise, found a cable, did all that jazz, and then I realized I must have had the assumption I was going to put cruise in here one time, so I actually have it in the truck. So I guess some of you, what I'm going to do in this video is show you folks how to wire up one of these old cruise control doodads. Well, I shouldn't say old, it's like 99 to what, 2002 or 3, something like that. Drive-by cable had these mechanical cruise controls. But I guess if you have an electric speedometer or something, you can probably use these to give yourself cruise control pretty easily. So I've done one of these. I did this on my International, and I'm going to do it for my wife and myself when I drive it, so I can have not a sore foot when I drive. Currently I have a block of wood I put down here to try to rest my foot a little bit, but it works like crap. So we're gonna upgrade, put some cruise control in her. So anyways, I gotta pull my book out because I don't remember what wires were what, and I'm hoping I labeled it really well the last time I did it. Alrighty, I found the schematic for the cruise unit, and there's a good chance I'm reading it wrong because I'm not great at it, but that's the only thing I'm not 100% on. I got a light blue and then I got a gray. Anyways, there's a gray, light blue, gray with a black, light blue with a black. We have a white and a brown. We have a light blue and a dark green with a white. So the green with the white is going to be your VSS, which is going to be my the speed. Two of them go to the brake and the torque lockup. So there's two there. And then the other ones are basically the resume, set, all that stuff. So that's these ones. Anyways, I'm gonna doodle this over, pull through here, hope all the wires are here, and I'm gonna fumble through it. And basically, if it works, I'm gonna come back and explain what I did right and wrong. Should be pretty straightforward, but I have to go through how I wired the truck. So I got this far. I'm sure I'm gonna need some more wiring to dink around over on the other side there. Alright, little quick Google search. Kind of dumb this down more. This part is not relevant. The light blue and black, which is whatever. I think it's this one. Light blue? Nope. Light blue and black? Yep. This one is a cruise control and gauge signal. So this basically is just if you want to have a light in your dash, tell you your cruise control's on. So we don't care about that one. Junk. The for what I'm doing, my resume I'm not going to use. So that's like the gray and black. So these two will be just nothing in the system. I usually just turn it on and I set it. I don't care after that. I can always drive back up to speed and hit the button again. So anyways, those are out. So I think we have this all dumbed down to make sense now, for me anyways. Black and white is a negative, negatory. The light blue is going to be like my, it goes on my my brake switch, my torque converter lockup side. And then the blue wire is going to be my set. Which one is this one here? The brown with the white goes to my brake switch, and it goes on the brake side, so when you apply the brakes it'll turn the cruise off. Green and white is going to be my speed signal. The gray wire is the power to turn my cruise on and off, so that enables or disables it. And then this brown, just a straight brown wire, is like keyed power. So let's basically hook all this junk up and see if it works. Should be pretty straightforward. I'm hoping I can tie it in with the original button, because I put a GM column in here, but I don't have high hopes for that because I think these are just grounds. They don't actually feed power. I'll have to test with it and see if I can get it to work. If not, my go-to is usually I just put 2 toggle switches under the dash. So I just, whatever, I go to Rock Auto, hit the random switch section there, and then I'll grab like a momentary button switch, which is you put 12 volt to it, and then just like a flicky switch there just to engage or disengage my cruise. Yeah, I think that's it. Somewhere else I bought some cases where I had like a 2-button case, but I don't know where I have it. They're here somewhere. I know I bought a couple, but we'll try to use the original cruise first if I can. So the original cruise switch, which are these little dongles, I always end up finding this bit, but they never have the plug. Anyways, it does work for what I need. I guess I should have ran the other wire out, but I don't care. But we have our, this is our main power coming in. This powers the cruise, tells it to turn on and off, and this one sets it. So on the stock GM stuff, you go here, now the cruise is off, on, and you set. So I just got to tidy up the wires. I have most of it all tidied up into here. I've tied into the brake switch there, and on both sides of that, because I had one for the torque converter and then one for the brake switch. And well, one, yeah, they're different. One had constant power, one doesn't. Hopefully I got that right. The ground is hooked up here. I've tapped in and fed power to the cruise there. So really, these cruise modules don't need to know anything about the what's going on with the motor. It just needs to know how fast you're going, and your brake switch stuff. It needs to know that. After that, you just feed it power to turn on. Well, yeah, it needs like a power and a ground. Your cruise switch when it's on to tell it that it's engaged, and then a set button. Then you're kind of golden. It should work with the drive-by. This is the drive-by cable stuff. So if I did it right, it's gonna work. So we'll find out in a couple minutes here. So, I've got no fancy camera gear with me other than my phone. So let's see. I don't know how slow the cruise control can or will not work. I'm sure it has to work over a certain speed. Boo! Back to the drawing board. Alright, finally I got it figured out. The big one is that brake switch one. I had another wire on my brake switch and it wasn't, I tried using it, but the brake switch wire needs to be on the same side as your taillight. Don't know why, for some reason it does draw a current and it needs to see that. So at least At least now when I set my cruise, I feel it go down and it basically works as it should. Until you hit your brake, and then now it slows down like it's supposed to. Or I turn it off, one or the other. Alright, so I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna explain this properly. Hopefully I explain it properly. We'll see. I'm gonna do my best to explain this now, because these are actually pretty awesome. You can use them on almost anything, really, other than needing an electronic speedometer. So I do not know, I'll have to test this if it'll work with a GPS speedometer or something. So that'd be super awesome. Because it is a cable, so for all the old school stuff. Sometimes you can get a module like Dakota Digital makes one on the speedometer, like that converts mechanical to digital. Man, be cool. I don't know if that works or not. But anyways, I'll break down this GM cruise control doodad. So you start off with, well, let's start. I don't even know the color code to start with, but we'll say you have a blue and a black, which is not needed unless you want this to run your light on a dash, or a light just to say your cruise control's turned on. That's what this is. I don't know, I can't recall if it's a ground or not, or a power. But if you can read a schematic, it's that one wire. Then there's a black and white, that is ground. You have a straight brown wire, it is keyed power. Your white and green is going to be your VSS, so that's your speed signal. Somehow this thing needs to know how fast you're going. Then we go down to a brown and white. So if you have an automatic, this goes to the torque converter side that has 12 volt power on your brake switch when you're driving and the key's on. When you apply the brakes, you lose the 12 volt power. So that's the torque converter one. The light blue one is the brake switch, and that's where I struggled with mine. Is this one is for the this has to go like on a GM, the white wire. Whatever the tail light side is, this needs to go there. For some reason it needs to see some current. Somehow, for some reason, even though your brake lights are not on, there's a little bit of current going through that this reads. With that said, I have experimented and had problems with LED taillights. They don't draw enough power, and then your cruise will not work. So, mental note. And then the last ones you have is like this tan wire, or gray wire, solid gray. It is just a 12 volt switch power, so that turns your cruise control on and off. The dark blue is your set, so have a button or something that just sends this 12 volts for a second. That's your set. And then the gray with the black in it, that's your resume. And it's, again, that's another one where you just momentary give it 12 volts. And then that's it. You the end of the GM one looks like this. You find some way to adapt it over to your carburetor or your fuel injected setup or whatever if you don't have cruise control. But it's not a drive-by wire, it's a drive-by cable something. It's that easy. I can't imagine why this wouldn't work on a Ford or anything else, but I don't know. Maybe there's something with this VSS signal. I have to toy with that yet. But with that said, that is all it took. I struggled a little bit, and it was mostly with, I first wired up my torque converter, my brake switch wrong, and then it still didn't work, and because my brake switch had a third wire for brake power. So then I took this off and put it to my tail light side, and then it worked instantly right after that. So anywho, now I'm going to basically pop that dry shaft off and just check, see how good or bad those U-joints are. I blindly bought one U-joint, and I'm going to see if there's one side that's bad, that I can switch it out, and hopefully all bad vibrations go away, and we're ready for some cruising. All right, well, it was definitely not necessary for me to take the wheels off, but my tires are doing a slight little bit of rubbing, and a buddy of mine brought me a bunch of spacers, and I only need a little bit, so it's probably gonna grab like as crappy as these things are. One spacer on just to give it a little bit of breathing room, and then throw them back on. So that said, I pulled the drive shaft out. The rear is like 100%. The front feels okay. Like there's nothing, like this way's okay. It feels a little tight this way, but nothing binding. So I'm just gonna blindly swap it out just in case. I'm pretty sure I bought the same U-joint, so I'm gonna swap this super quick, slam it back into the truck, and then, I don't know, I guess it'll be what it is at that point. Some people ask what I've used to do my ball joints. All it is, or my U-joints, I use a ball joint tool, which works good for pushing them out and everything else. You can do the old, put it on the vise and beat it through. It's what I used to always do. But my luck is I always end up dropping one needle, and then I've had like 1 or 2 caps blow out, just beating on it with brute force. So now I go this route. It's much, much easier. Well, what's left to do? Take her for a boot. So I'm going to take it for a quick rip, see if that resolved that. We know our AC works, so. That seemed to work. I got no more vibration. We got cruise control. We pretty much have we're ready to rock. Ready to do a couple road trips there this summer. Well, by road trips, just kind of farting around Manitoba here, I guess. But anyways, as always, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. Later.